And now, this world shall know pain. Almighty push.
What's going on, DigiDestin? It's your boy True Pain Gaming, back at it again with another video. So, today we have a yellow deck that I made myself. So, let's just hop right into it. We're going to start. We have 2 Digimon. When attacking, if you have 5 or more security cards, trigger, draw 1. This rarely comes up, but if you get this for your first egg flip, really cool, really nice. Lots of free pluses. If, 3 Tokamon. If a card gets reduced to 0, plus 1k, so it comes up in certain situations, but not a whole lot. But it's more generic than Digimon, so I like running a few more Tokamon. 3 Tinkermon, we play this for the Peterbon combo. Literally no other reason we play this card, except for it's a 3 cost. If you don't want to play the Peterbon combo, just play Salamons. It's a slightly cheaper cost, but I like the combo, so I play it. 4 Patamon, I think this is a staple right now in yellow. This one searches your TK. No matter which TK you're playing, I think TK is a solid card, either one. So having basically 4 extra copies in your deck is very, very good. 4 Labramon. So when an opponent Digimon is deleted to 0, you draw a card. Again, another draw. This one's more generic than Digimon though, because you are going to be deleting by DP a lot. That is what the deck likes to do. 4 Patamon. Same thing. When something hits 0 DP, but instead you gain memory. And this one's a hard one. This one's a once per turn for each Patamon, whereas Labramon procs every time. On to level 4s, we play 4 Reapmon. It's just the generic quick evolution with the 2 cost, 3 hard play. I like it. Quick, simple, easy. 3 Peterbon, my bad. You get to play a Tinkermon for free from your hand or recycle bin, and I think that's super strong, especially in Step 1.0, getting 2 cards for the cost of 1. I like that a lot. Next we have Unimon, which is our only blocker, so obviously we play 4 of it. I don't think there needs to be any other explanation on why we play 4 Unimon. 3 Sirenmon. This could be 4 if you want to play 4, and I'll explain another card later that you can take out if you want to be a little bit more budget and play 4 Sirenmon. It's again the same reason as Reapmon, quick, easy, cheap. If you have to hard play, it's not that big of a loss because it's only 5 cost, and then to evolve, only 2 costs. That's nice. 6k body is actually not bad either. So especially because you get this early game with how cheap it is. 1 Magna Angemon. So Magna Angemon, this is a card that I have very mixed feelings about. I see a lot of yellow players playing 3, 2, 4. I don't think those are right. I think you play 1 or none. Live or die by 1 or none Magna Angemon. Maybe in the future this card's gonna be busted, and I think it come January when this card hits its low price. It's already pretty cheap. It's one of the cheaper SRs out of set 1. I think once this card dips in January to pick up a few of these. So what it does is on play, recovery plus 1. So if you want to pay 7 to get 1 extra recovery, then you can. And then it's inheritable. It's for every 3 cards in your security, it gains 1000 DP. The inheritable is the really good part about this card. I think in the future, yellow will get some sort of build that manipulates security to just get a massive amount of it. And I think this card will 100% be a staple in that build. So I think you should pick this up in the future. Even if you don't want to play yellow, this card will probably have value later to reset. If you want to play 4 Sirenmon and you can't afford Magna Angemon, which you should be able to because I don't think it costs that much. I did buy mine, but I bought pretty much all my Digimon cards at the same time, and I don't know how much I paid for them individually. So, yeah. But the Magna Angemon is, if you can't afford it, if it's too expensive, just play Sirenmon, or if you just don't like it, play Sirenmon, your choice. But that's what I'd replace. Angelmon, I think this is a better Magna Angemon for right now. I say for right now because I'm talking in set 1.0 and possibly 1.5 format. Because right now we have a lot less strategies that are, what's the word? Not coherent, but a lot of decks right now are going to rush you down and just unga bunga your security. So a lot of the cards that say if you have 3 security or less are a lot better this format. because you're gonna have that most of the time once you get into those higher levels, anyways. So she's also 1 less cost to hard play and 1,000 more DP. So if that's relevant to you, it doesn't come up that much, but if it did and you had to, she's a good option for that. 2/Angemon. This card's so good, I cannot explain enough. The reason we don't play 4 of it is because in this build I'm playing other cards, but there is a card you can take out if you wanted to play more of this, and I'll explain that in a few. But what it does is when Digivolving, one of your opponents gets minus 8k DP, which is enough to kill pretty much anything that's an ultimate or less, which is very strong, very good. It only has 8k DP, which is kind of sucky, but you're mostly using it for that on Digivolve skill anyway. 2 Seraphimon, when Digivolving, recovery +1. This doesn't matter how much is in your recovery. So this card kind of combos with Magna Angemon, and I also think he will be cheap when the set comes out. Not as cheap as Magna Angemon, but cheap. And I think this will also be a card that if we ever get a deck that manipulates the recovery, which I think we will, I think this will be a staple in that deck, probably a 4 of. Its second effect is not as good. Right now, again, right now, set 1.0 format, its second effect is not as good. It's while you have 3 or more security cards, this Digimon gets security attack +1. Again, in the future, if we get a deck that just gets a massive amount of security, this card will be insane, goofy even. But right now, set 1.0, by the time you get to him, you're probably going to have 3, 1, 2, 0 in most games, if everything's going well for both players. So that being said, you'll probably have that security attack for 1 turn, which isn't a whole lot. So again, you're mostly playing him for that Wind Digivolving effect. If you can't afford him or you don't like him, I would definitely replace him with /Angemon and max out on /Angemons because that card is very strong and should not be underrated. Now to the star of the deck, the All-Star, the mega boss monster for yellow right now, I think. This card is so slept on. It's Kintorismon. So, when Digivolving, up to 5 of your opponent's Digimon gain security attack -2. 5. That is huge, guys. That is better than any blocker in the game. Unless something has crazy amount of security checks, this card will basically stop your opponent for a turn, which is so good, so strong. I love this card. And then on deletion, one of your opponents gets minus 11k DP. That's really good because if you swing with it and your opponent checks like an Omnimon from their security, it would die, but you would just get a pop something of your opponent's, which is crazy. It's so strong. The reason we play 3 instead of 4, even though I'm saying how crazy and strong it is because I like the 2-2-3 ratio. 6 to 7 level 6s is really what I feel comfortable with, and I think 2-2-3 is pretty solid. If you did want to cut the Seraphimons and you could afford Kintorismon, like you just didn't like Seraphimon, I'd play 1 more /Angemon or a Magna /Dramon. The dragon, the yellow dragon that gives +2 security. I would either play 1 more /Angemon or him, and then 1 more Kintorismon, because Kintorismon is probably the boss of the deck right now. And I really like it. 3 Symphony number 1. Oh wait, no, 2. My bad, 2. I was testing with 3-3, but I think 2-4 is better, and I'll explain why. So it's 5 cost, minus 7k DP. No security effect. The security effect, I see a lot of people playing 3-3 or 4-2, but I think 2-3 is 2-4 is the optimal. Oh, and the other card I'm talking about in that ratio is 7 Heavens, but we'll get to that. So no security effect is what I think hurts this card. I think the 5k is the 5 for 7 is fair, but I think if this card said activate its main effect for your security, it'd be so strong. And I'd love this card. I still love this card, but I don't love it as much as 7 Heavens. For 7 Heavens, this card's like Diet Gaia Force. It's gonna kill most things with that minus 10k, but not all. Whereas Gaia Force just deletes, like, good night. This will kill most things, but not all. But this activates in your security, which is why I like to max it, because it's the same as Vulcan's Hammer, where it can potentially just end a turn for you, which I really like. 3 TK. Oh, this is hard. I don't know if the ratio. This is the only card in this deck that I don't know if the ratio is right. I don't know if you play 3 or 4 of this. And I'm gonna be honest. I think if you did play 4, you'd cut 1 7 Heavens and play 1 more of this. Basically, it sets your memory to 3 if you have 2 or less at the start of your turn, as most of the tamers do. And then on play, look at your security, reveal one card in it, add it to your hand. If it's yellow, you recovery +1. So this TK and the starter deck TK are both good. I think for this build, this one has a slight edge, but in the future, I think it will be debatable which one you play more copies of. Right now, I think this one has a slight edge because it lets you filter your security. Super cool. I really like that, and I hope in the future we get a deck that's solely focused on manipulating security. Again, if you didn't want to play 4 of this, I would cut 1/7 Heavens, I think, and play one more TK. But I only play 3 because we do play the 4 Patamons. So, again, that's why we do that. Now, the weird thing about yellow, I just want to go over a few quick things really quick. The weird thing about yellow is I think this has an incredible matchup in set 1.0. Most of the best decks, I think yellow flat out beats from my playtesting of this deck. Blue Omnimon, again, is situational, as it usually is with Blue Omnimon, but I do think this has a very good 60-40 matchup with Blue Omnimon, which is actually really good odds with Blue Omnimon. And most other decks in Tier 1, this deck does just curb stomp completely. However, this deck hard loses to black, which is arguably the worst deck in the format. Much as people like black, unless you're a mega quantum brain player, this deck hard loses to black, and that's the main reason I think holding yellow back right now is that even though black's not that played because it's the worst deck in the format, if you play a black in like a tournament or something, you're probably going to lose, and it's going to be real feels bad because lost maybe the worst deck in format. But hey, maybe if it's like the other profile that I put on my deck profile of the blacklist, maybe the other player is just so skilled with that deck. Anyways, that's all for this video, guys. I just want to say thank you so much for the support recently. My last Digimon video has completely blown up, and I'm actually blown away. So thank you guys so much. I can't explain that enough. And yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my other videos. Have a great